Ano? Especially nitong 2022 because of the pandemic, marami kaming hindi nakita. No? In fact, for example, yung writing lang ng SD card.
Magandang araw mula sa Good News Update. Ang presentasyong ito ay tungkol sa pagdududa ng NAMFREL sa COMELEC noong 2022 national election. Pakinggan po natin.
Is there anything wrong then for the AES of May 2022 to have used private IP addresses?
There's nothing wrong there. We don't see anything wrong with the use. Like we said, internally in the network, you use private IP addresses, right? But when you transmit, if you're transmitting data to another device in the network, then you go through the network of the telecommunications providers, which is basically in the internet infrastructure already.
Okay.
Right? And that internet infrastructure uses public IP addresses. Now, how does it happen? When your device connects to the network, which has a private IP address, it connects to the network. That network responds by recognizing your private address, but for it to connect to the internet, it dynamically assigns an IP address, no? So that your data, when you transmit to another device in the network, will go through. Otherwise, it will not.
Ang sinasabi ng NAMFREL, pag magta-transmit na ang BCM, ang bulk counting machine, ang modem na nakakabit dito ay bibigyan ng ISP ng unique public IP address. Ang total vote per precinct ay itatransmit papunta sa transparency server, dadadaan sa internet. So, ang gagamitin dyan is public IP address. Pagdating sa NAT gateway, para makapasok, bibigyan siya ng NAT gateway ng dynamic private IP address. So, pag meron na siyang private IP address, makakapag-communicate na siya sa transparency server. Ito si transparency server, i-record niya yung reception ng BCM. So, magkakaroon siya ng reception log. So, lahat ng BCM, pag tumakbo, papasok sa transparency server, ay magkakaroon ng IP address mula sa NAT gateway. So, ito ay unique. So, unique siya sa network na to. Ito ang reception log na na-download ni na General Rio mula sa COMELEC website. Ito, cluster na to ay nagre-represent ng mga presinto. Dito makikita nyo pare-parehong oras siya nag-connect sa NAT gateway. Dapat to merong iba-ibang IP address. Okay? Kasi bawat nga magko-connect ay bibigyan ng private IP address. Okay? So, dapat to iba-iba ang IP address. Kasi nga, pag nag-connect ka, pag ang BCM nag-connect dito, ay bibigyan ni NAT gateway ng private IP address. Kaya dapat, ang magiging log ay iba-iba ang IP address. Ito, pare-parehong oras na nag-connect, hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng pare-parehong IP address to kasi pare-pareho ang oras na pag-connect niya. Itong reception log na to ay galing mismo sa COMELEC website. Ang ibig sabihin nito, ang mga presintong ito, clustered precinct number, ang pinanggalingan ng mga boto ay iisang device na may IP address na 192.168.0.2. So, ito ang sinasabing irregularidad ni General Rio, man in the middle, na may IP address na 192.168.0.2. So, dito galing yung mga boto ng presinto. So, ito ang total vote per precinct. Itong laptop na to ang nagpadala papunta sa transparency server. At hindi galing dito sa mga BCM na nasa presinto. Kasi, di ba, dapat dadaan siya rito papunta rito sa gateway, tapos i-record yung BCM number. BCM IP address. Pero lumalabas na ang IP address na nakarecord sa log ay etong IP address na to na nasa loob na mismo ng COMELEC. Ito ang additional information ng NAT gateway. So, Network Address Translation. Galing NAMFREL.
But there is a dongle
Yes.
attached.
Yes.
Attached only when it's time to transmit.
After the printing of the first 8 ER.
All right? So this would be the second element. This dongle, this has the IP address,
It will have the IP address.
the private IP address.
Well,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily. Whatever it gets assigned to.
Okay. And then the third part,
It
the
communicates to a
through the cell sites.
to
No?
most of the dongle communicates to the cell site.
Okay.
Then that communicates to a central router or gateway.
Or the transparency server?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
To the gateway. Then the gateway connects it to whatever use of the customer. In this case, COMELEC. Then the transparency server to the main server.
And because where we are right now, it's not possible for the data from a VCN using the dongle to reach the end of the transmission process purely through public IP addresses. It has to be a combination. Tama ba?
Pwedeng purely public if
Okay.
it was configured that way.
All right.
But at this stage, because of the depletion of IPv4, yun nga, there's a protocol called Network Address Translation, or for
NAT.
carrier-grade Network Address Translation. The common practice is to use private network address, translate it into a public network address, then use that.
Balikan lang natin yung sinabi ng NAMFREL. If it was configured that way. So, ibig sabihin ng NAMFREL, hindi nila alam kung paano ba talaga yung design. Okay? Kasi sabi niya, if it was configured that way. So, hindi nila alam kung paano dinesign yung AES system, Automated Election System, nung nakaraang 2022 national election.
The lack of logs. Dalawa yan, ano?
Yeah.
So, yung log na pinadala nila, kulang eh.
Reception pa.
Well, not only reception, kulang na mismo yung pagkakasulat. The one who wrote the program to log it, kulang, ano?
Kulang, the data that was collected is lacking.
So, it's the one who developed it. Sayang, sana dinagdag na. Then, I'll push it even further.
Sure.
The one that we have access to through the transparency server, kulang na kulang. What we get is, well, even groups like Rappler will only get a CSV file, which is the result already. Isa yan sa tinutulak namin sa NAMFREL. Be more transparent. If they use, for example, standard data packets, what we're pushing out, what we're requesting is a package called EML, Election Markup Language. Ano? If they use it, lahat doon hagip mo. Hindi mo naman kailangan itago yan eh. You will see dates, for example, what time the VCM closed, what time it tried to transmit, who were the EB who signed it. Dapat yun makuha eh. But yun nga, they abbreviated some of the things, whether by design or whatever reason, nakakahinayang lang. It's
But these multiple lacks, no? Kulang sa ganito, kulang sa ganyan. Are they necessarily proof of fraud?
not a proof of fraud, but it makes you doubt. Okay? Yan yung isang challenge. Kasi nga, so from our end sa NAMFREL,
Ang NAMFREL ay nagdududa sa COMELEC kung bakit kulang-kulang ang logs. At kung bakit hindi maibigay ang logs na hinihingi ni na General Rio. Ito ang transmission log. Kung walang tinatago, bakit hindi maibigay ang logs?
kaya lang, si Lito, one early morning, tried comparing the two hash code versus the one that we saw during the end-to-end demonstration. Aba, yung isang byte hindi nag-compare. Number 8 and letter B is wrong. So,
What does that mean?
well, we complained, So, that means what we reviewed in the in the source code may not be the program installed in the VCN. So, issue sa amin yun, ano? We complained, we wrote 3 letters, ano? Even when we were part of the COMELEC Advisory Committee, we even raised that with the COMELEC Advisory Committee. And actually, when we spoke with the chairman, we told him that again. In fairness to him naman, sabi niya, hindi, papakita namin. So, pero that's still a pending issue for us. Ano? And that shows you the lack of transparency within all the process. Ano? Especially nitong 2022, because of the pandemic, marami kaming hindi nakita. No? In fact, for example, yung writing lang ng SD card.
Ang nirereklamo pa ng NAMFREL na yung na source code review nila ay hindi iyon ang nasa BCM. Kasi iba raw ang naging result ng hash code. Ibig sabihin na hindi pareho yung review nilang program sa nasa BCM mismo bago mag-eleksyon. Ang isa sa maraming hindi nakita ng COMELEC ay yung sa SD card. At marami pa sa rin reklamo na hindi nakita, ang ginawang dahilan ng COMELEC ay ang COVID. So, marami talagang irregularidad nung nakaraang 2022 national election. Bakit hindi makipagtulungan ang NAMFREL para malutas lahat ng pagdududa, para mapakita kung talaga bang walang irregularidad nung nakaraang 2022 national election?
They use the pandemic as the basis to block. So, medyo mahirap, ano? So, nandyan na eh. Yung sinasabi, it's all there. Why not show it? Ano? Why cast doubt? So, the VCM hash code, if it's really that, then why not show it? Yun lang naman hinihiling namin eh. If the logs are there, why not show it?
Then I think the telco log should still be there. It must be there. Remember that the TNT trio filed a petition with the court, the Supreme Court, the mandamus petition, seeking a protection order first, preservation order
Preserve the flag, yeah.
to preserve the data. So it must still be there if the telcos are made to comply with the order. Unfortunately, there has not been, the court, I think, has not acted on that petition. The only action taken was ordering the COMELEC to respond or to comment on the petition. Hanggang dun lang siya. But I think also the COMELEC took action. It posted some data sets initially, which they called the transmission log. When I personally looked at it,
It's a reception.
it's a reception log. It's not a transmission log. You know? And then they posted what is called the raw files. Again, the raw files purportedly is the transmission log, but we're saying it's lacking in data. So that might not be the whole thing. All of this, like I said earlier, these sets of data are pieces of the bigger jigsaw puzzle because there's a lot of data all over the place. Now, this telco logs, for example, is imbued with public interest. No? So when the public asks for it, the commission should release the data, without maybe an order from the court for them to release it because it's not secret to begin with.
Ang sabi ng NAMFREL, ang log ay hindi sikreto. Bakit hindi maibigay ng COMELEC ang log na hinihingi ng grupo ni General Rio? At bakit ang binigay imbis na transmission log ay reception log na kulang-kulang pa? Yan ang napakalaking tanong ng NAMFREL. Bakit hindi maibigay ng COMELEC ang mga logs na hinihingi ng grupo ni General Rio? Bakit nga ba hindi maibigay ng COMELEC?